Hi, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, today we have something that's a little bit tragic, which is the deaths of students at universities in Florida thanks to AI. And I think I have to say allegedly because there's currently an investigation going on thanks to the Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer into whether or not AI really had a hand in the deaths of these students at the University of South Florida and Florida State University.
Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer says the state is now investigating OpenAI and exploring whether the company could face criminal charges. The move comes after newly released chat logs showed the man accused of killing two people at Florida State last year asked ChatGPT detailed questions about how to commit the shooting.
Now, I go to USF right now. I'm getting my master's in public administration there. And so there's something that's really personal to me beyond the fact that I'm running for state house in Tampa right now, where USF is. The truth is, we need regulation on AI because what it seems to be, according to the allegations that our attorney general is putting forward, which I do not like him on most things. He's very bad generally, but here he's doing the right thing by investigating this huge corporation that potentially coached students into hurting and killing other students. We'll look at the one in USF. They actually killed these two students. It was horrible. Their roommate, using advice given by AI, murdered these two students, allegedly.
The last time anyone saw Zamil and Nahida, both doctoral students at the University of South Florida, was on April 16th. Deputies took Zamil's roommate in custody. You can see that happening right here. He was arrested at his family's home in Lake Forest neighborhood. That's about a mile and a half away from USF. Bristi and Limon are both from Bangladesh, here on student visas. Limon was just days away from finishing his PhD in environmental science when he disappeared.
And now we get to these ChatGPT questions. They allegedly showed Hisham asking, quote, what happens if a human has put in a black garbage bag and thrown in a dumpster? When ChatGPT responded saying it sounded dangerous, Hisham allegedly responded, how would they find out? He also asked if a VIN number on a car could be changed. Then he asked if he could keep a gun in a home without a license. And now in the next couple of days, Hisham allegedly posed even more shocking questions to ChatGPT. Quote, has there been someone who survived a sniper bullet to the head? He also asked, will my neighbors hear my gun? And then he asked, quote, will Apple know who is the new iPhone user after the previous user? He also asked, quote, is there a water temperature that burns immediately? But one of the most damning ChatGPT questions came on the 23rd, 6 days after this couple was reported missing. And when this story had made national news, as all of us were wondering what happened, he was asking, allegedly, quote, what does missing endangered adult mean? And that is when Zamil Lyman and Nahida Bristi were considered just that by law enforcement.
It's horrible. And so James Uthmeyer is expanding the investigation he's already doing into the shooting at FSU, which we have right here. Now, the main quote that we see from this is, if it was a person on the other end of that screen, we would be charging them with murder. Now, one of the main distinctions that we're really going to see play out when it comes to these investigations and these court hearings and to the laws and policies surrounding AI is, well, it's basically just a search engine. We're basically just aggregating what you would do. We're basically aggregating all the results that you get if you just search up these things and giving them to you in a different format, right? You're basically just using Google, just in a different way. That's going to be one of their main responses. And the thing is, no, AI is different from a search engine. That's one of the main things they want us to believe. That's one of the main reasons we should invest so much of our money, so much of our economy into these AI data centers, into these AI corporations, because they are substantially different than just Google, than just searching something. The difference is they can understand context of things. They can understand that if you are searching up, how would I dispose of a body? If you're searching up, where is the best place to do a shooting? Where would the most people be? Well, AI can actually understand that. It gets the context for that. Google doesn't have the ability, except for now AI is so meshed with Google that, yeah, Gemini understands a lot of what you're saying. It can see your search results. But let's look into this. So he said this in a press conference in Tampa, that if it was the other person at the end of the screen, would be charging them with murder, saying that, like, yeah, OpenAI should be responsible for this, at least partially. We recognize that with AI, we are venturing into uncharted territory. We need to know whether or not OpenAI has criminal liability. This is some of the first cases around AI murder. We have to get to the bottom of this, and we have to ensure that people are protected from corporations who unleash AI into the world, knowing that there are problems, knowing that things like this could happen, and yet do nothing to actually stop it.
Again, I suspect this is not all going to be good. There will be problems. People will develop these sort of somewhat problematic or maybe very problematic parasocial relationships, and well, society will have to figure out new guardrails, and but the upsides will be tremendous, and society in general is good at figuring out how to mitigate the downsides.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. Sam Altman made a dangerous suicide bot that people are leaving alone with their kids, but it's up to us to figure out how to make it safe for him.
Let's continue. Othmeier said his office is preparing criminal subpoenas for OpenAI, the corporation behind ChatGPT, to learn what this company's red flag reporting requirements were, as accused gunman Phoenix Eichner communicated with the bot between March 1st and April 17th, 2024 to 2025. The first subpoena will seek information about which company personnel were involved in designing and enforcing internal policies to help determine what people knew. The second is for all of Eichner's ChatGPT account information. Now, I'd like that they're actually going into seeing what the internal policies in the corporation were, because that's really the thing that we need to do the most. We saw the same thing with Grok, with Elon Musk's AI at X. Interestingly, Elon Musk was one of the founders of OpenAI, and he is suing OpenAI right now, saying they've gone evil. That's a court case going on in Oakland, and yeah, we need the same thing happening in Florida. Now, Elon Musk, who created Grok, who called itself Mega Hitler and was one of the evilest AIs on the planet, except, I mean, right now we have OpenAI potentially coaching murders, so hard to weigh the two. Even Elon Musk is saying that OpenAI is going too far, that's betraying its founding principles, that it is evil. And that's why we need this investigation here in Florida, so that we can actually determine what policy we should have and see how we should regulate these corporations so their internal policies reflect the danger of what they're just pumping out into the public. To speak even more on this, we have so many kids talking to AI chatbots. So many kids. They're almost everywhere, and they affirm almost everything. They have definitely led to the deaths of multiple kids by suicide. And this doesn't mean that it wouldn't have happened regardless. But here we have an NPR investigation recently. Their teenage son died by suicide. Now they're sounding an alarm about AI chatbots. Yeah. So Matthew Rain and his wife Maria had no idea. Their 16-year-old son Adam was deep in a suicidal crisis until he took his own life in April. Now, one of the horrible things that I don't know if it's this one, but we saw in a case of this where a teen dying by suicide after talking to AI is that AI actually told them, don't go seek help. Don't tell your parents about this. And we need regulation. Right now we're talking about a call for regulation here. Now, one thing I'll give Ron DeSantis credit on, which again, I'm a Democrat running for a state house in Florida. I do not like Ron DeSantis for most things, but he was calling for regulation to AI. In California, they're introducing things like the Pause Act. We need those here. We need to stop AI from being able to interact with our kids, from being able to talk sexually and sensually to our kids. That is something Facebook has said they absolutely do. They allow, at least for 13 and above, which should not be allowed. We would charge anybody, if there was a person on the side of the screen, we would charge them with pedophilia. We charge them with inappropriate contact with a minor. And yet we allow these corporations to get away with this. We could go on forever about a nearly endless amount of, deaths and horrible, horrible life choices that have been influenced by AI. But really, at the end of the day, we just have to understand we need to regulate them now. That's why I'm running for state house, so we can get control over these corporations. Because right now, our legislators allow them to lead to the deaths, potentially, of citizens. They're allowing corporations to flagrantly disobey the law. Well, because the law doesn't really exist yet. To disobey the spirit of the law. That's why we need to make laws around this. That's why I'm running for state house. And if you want to help me get there, please like this video, please share it, please comment on what you think needs to change in Florida, and then follow my page to see more. Have a great day.